Olá pessoal, tudo bem? Bom, estou aqui, Rodrigo Nascimento, Buscar ID, e hoje a gente tem o prazer de entrevistar um cara que eu admiro pra caramba por todo o histórico e o que ele vem trazendo pra gente desde 2012 com o portal chiefmartech.com. É o Scott Brinker. Eu vou começar agora a nossa entrevista em inglês com ele, pedir para ele se apresentar e tudo mais. Então, como vocês já sabem, não vamos enrolar e a gente vai chamar aqui o Scott agora. So, Scott, thank you so much for being here with us. It's a pleasure for us. And can you present yourself to our audience?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I wear two hats. I am currently the VP of Platform Ecosystem at HubSpot. So I help HubSpot do a better job of connecting with the ever-expanding ecosystem of so many other SaaS companies.
Awesome.
Before that, I was an entrepreneur in the SaaS space myself. The other hat I wear is, I've been writing the Chief Martech blog for 14 years now.
Whoa, 20
A
years.
champion of the intersection between the worlds of marketing and technology.
Wow. I didn't know it was 20 years of Chief Martech.
It's wow, time has flown by.
Yeah.
It flies by when you're having fun.
Wow. Yeah. Great. So, Scott, a little curiosity. Did you create the concept in term Martech?
I'm not entirely sure how we came up with that name. I remember when we were going to launch the Martech conference. We were
Okay.
talking about what the shorthand for that was. It wasn't a very popular term yet. Like people knew
Mm-hmm.
about ad tech, but they hadn't really yet been
Okay.
talking about Martech. And so that was what we landed on. And then as we started promoting that conference, that seemed to really have the phrase catch on.
Oh, great. What does this mean exactly, Martech? It's just technology and marketing, or have something a lot of?
Yeah, well, the simple answer would be right. Martech is any technology that marketers are using to get their job done. The boundaries of what that technology is has continued to expand. Frankly, as the role of marketing has continued to expand. We can also think of Martech as not just the actual technologies themselves, but almost as a kind of discipline. Yeah, it's like part of that whole marketing ops, marketing technology space. And you have professionals, a lot of people who see themselves as marketing technologists, and have really become experts and professionals in the Martech space. So I kind of think of Martech as, the intersection,
Yeah,
of the people and technology there.
awesome. The marketing, or actually marketing, has had in the last 8 years a flurry of news of roles, not just in technology, but at the marketing itself. What can you say to us about these new roles? Sorry, and how can the marketer can prepare for these new roles? Actually, because marketing was seen as a cost. Today, it's investment. We need to performers, and we can bring results to the company beyond some swags or something like that. So how can you do? What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, no, it's Dickens would say, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. That's very much sums up the state of modern marketing is, the scope of responsibilities that marketers are responsible for, the number of different channels, the expansion of the different tactics, obviously all these new technologies that they can leverage. It's incredibly exciting that the space has expanded so much, but at the same time, this is an incredible burden. I mean, marketers have had to expand their skill set. They're constantly in a state of, having to learn, the next new thing. And so some people love this, other people, it's perhaps a little bit too stressful,
Yeah.
but I don't think there's any way around it. Is we're just living in a period of really significant digital change.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of that change has to do with how companies find and attract and engage and delight their customers. And that is really marketing's mission, at the highest level. I do think it is actually very exciting that, one of the advantages of moving to this digital domain for marketing is because we get so much more data around the interactions that people have with us. And we have so much data on that customer journey, is things like getting better analytics and attribution. To your point that, marketing isn't just a cost center, but using data and analytics, we can start to actually map it out as like, no, this is the revenue journey. This is how we actually like bring business to the company and grow it. So that's definitely a big step forward for the industry too.
That's awesome. I don't know in United States, but in Brazil, my company had some research here this year, and we detect that 70% of marketers they see some opportunity on data and technology and everything. How is it in United States? Did you are you seeing some evolution at the marketers with the marketers professionals?
Yeah, now I'm a little bit biased because by the time I end up
Yeah,
interacting with marketers, usually it's already a foregone conclusion that they are interested in data and technology and how to leverage all this. But I think even taking my personal experience with marketers with a grain of salt, even just everything I read, in publications like Ad Age and Adweek. These mainstream marketing publications, certainly here in the US. I think pretty much everyone at this point in the marketing industry recognizes that data and technology are just an integral part of what the field is all about now.
oh great, that's good. In Brazil, like I said, we did a research here this year, and 85% of the responses tell us that they already have listened about data marketing, but they don't know what it is. Okay, this is good, but 5 years ago, they didn't listen at all about data marketing. So we have some evolution. In at your book, you brought us 5 characteristics of digital dynamics that I think are super essential for all marketers, actually for all people, anyone, not only only marketers. What are these elements and characteristics that you believe that marketer need them?
No, thanks for asking about this. This was sort of the underlying thesis, which inspired my book, Hacking Marketing, was that as marketing became digital, just it started to take on more and more of these characteristics that we see in the software world, which is
Yeah,
inherently digital. And the 5 things were like speed, adaptability, adjacency, scale, and precision. And so to just briefly describe each of those, the digital world is about speed, right? Things
yeah,
that used to take a very long time through manual and physical world processes, over digital connections happen instantaneously, right? Like if a prospect wants your information, it's not like you're sending them something in the mail that they have to wait, 5 days for. They get it instantaneously.
hmm,
Adaptability, it used to be like, if you were creating physical assets like brochures or, trade show booths or, things like this, it just, you would build these things, and then if you wanted to change them, it was either very expensive or very slow. Versus like when you have something that's inherently digital, like your website, it's just so easy to make changes there. So this digital dynamic of adaptability, is a huge asset for marketers. Adjacency, so it used to be like, yeah, again, like in the physical world, if someone goes to your physical store, right, if they wanted to go shop at a competitor store, they'd have to get back in their car and drive somewhere else, but in the digital world, everything is adjacent. It's just a click away, and so that's both a opportunity, but also a threat, that modern marketers need to be aware that, our competitors are always just one click away. Again, one of the other things about the other dynamic of scale, if you are trying to scale things in the physical world, that can get very expensive very quickly. But in a digital world, it's so easy to, like, if you have, an offer or a product that starts to gain a lot of traction, to be able to rapidly scale up the digital systems to support that demand, it's just much easier. And
That
then
is
the
all
last
about velocity, right?
Exactly, and then that like last piece, precision. It's what we were talking about earlier too, with like attribution and analytics. Is because we have more and more data about the journey of how customers engage with us. It just gives us the ability to have a lot more precision about, okay, well, where do we make changes, or how do we handle this particular customer with the next best offer or the next step that they take. So speed, adaptability, adjacency, scale, precision, these are all the characteristics that make digital such a fascinating environment for marketing.
Yeah, that's awesome because in the business world, we call that the best companies that will grow in the next year. They need to adapt and fast, right? So bring this at marketing, and the professionals will be very important, very important. And link with something that I wrote at my book, that the marketers need uh, three pillars, to have three pillars that is about technology, that will have some agility, be agile at your day, about precision, it's about data, data analysis and everything. And you need to have some business vision, because you need to understand why are you doing some strategy, why are you doing some action, and understand how the impact at the business, at the company itself. So since 20, I think since 2013, I follow with the evolution of technologies available for marketing by Martech landscape. It's by the way, it's a wonderful report. Congratulations about that. And the number of technology grows exponentially. It's scary actually. And I'm a tech guy. Uh, how you see this evolution, this exponentially growth with this technology?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly been as surprising to me as I think anyone to see just how much the marketing tech industry has expanded. And I think one of the things that's important to keep in mind is it's not just marketing technology. There are like well over 100,000 SaaS companies in the world today. It is just the nature now of software in the cloud, is that there are so few barriers to entry, and there are so many niche, and emerging opportunities for entrepreneurs to build businesses that, we just have a very rich and diverse software landscape
Yeah.
out there. And again, as I was saying earlier, it's like the best of times and the worst of times. On one hand, this is a really big advantage for marketers, that you have so many options and so many companies that are competing with each other to provide you the best possible capabilities. On the other hand, as a marketer, yes, it's great to have all that competition and all these choices, on the other hand, it's, just a lot of work to, like, okay, well, wait, like, which one do I choose, and how do I stay abreast of the new ones that are relevant, to my business? This is arguably now part of what the marketer's mission is to, not get carried away with the technology. Like, you don't want
Uh-huh.
to be chasing the next shiny object just for its own sake, but you need to keep aware of how technology is evolving simply from the perspective of how it's going to change the strategic options, that you have for how you grow your company.
Great. Like you said, while some people see this as some obstacle, uh, we need to see this as an opportunity, right? Because it's very interesting. Actually, in Brazil, most of the people of marketers, they don't know how to work with some technology, with some tools, and data analysis too. So if you know how to work with that, it's a great opportunity. You will be a I forgot the name in English, but uh, not desire. I forgot now. But you will be some profession that companies want, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, it's an incredibly valuable skill set
Yeah.
to have. And again, because there's so much that can be learned, yeah, it really is a great opportunity for you as a marketer developing your career. The more you learn, the more capabilities you sort of,
Hmm.
specialize with or get experience with. Yeah, it becomes a very, very valuable skill set for companies who are, yeah, most companies in the world are still very
Yeah.
early in their stages of, figuring out how to harness this to its full potential.
Awesome. Scott, the number of technology grows, and this is good. We know about that because we have more solutions that will help us in some way. But do you think that marketers have a good use of them, of all this technology, all the solution that we have, or the market didn't evolve so fast as the technologies? And how distant we are of all technologies we have available for us?
I think it's a really good point that you raise. I would say most marketers are not taking advantage of most of the technology that they already have today because,
Oh.
to your point, there's just been so much evolution in the technology. I mean, even if you haven't bought new products, the products that you already own, odds are they've continued to add new features and new capabilities. It is a very rapidly changing, market. And so it's completely understandable for most marketers, when they buy these very sophisticated tools, they often
Hmm.
start by just doing, some of the basic use cases. And ideally, over time, what you do is you keep learning and you experiment and you add new use cases and new capabilities. Um, but I think it is much more. The constraint is really about people and process and how do you run modern marketing. It's much more on the people and process side than it is on the technology side. The technology is like way ahead of most of us at this point,
Yeah.
and really the catch up is like, oh, well, how do we think about this from a strategic and operational perspective?
Awesome. About HubSpot, I have some curiosity because you in the United States, uh, for some things you are so far away from us. About inbound marketing, about strategies, about attribution, how did you actually? I will rephrase my question. In the last 3 4 years, the market changed a lot about acquisition, about some ads, and new strategies. Inbound, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very important for all companies. But do you have some or new strategy or some change that in inbound marketing that occur in the last 3 years, for example?
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, inbound marketing is, like one of those foundation, pillars for just, yeah, making sure that your company is well represented, in search engines, through social media, basically any of the channels that, customers discover you. But there are so many other things, that are a part of marketing, right? Once somebody actually comes into, our universe, the programs we use for nurturing them along their customer journey, inbound is maybe the start of that relationship, but all of the work you do to build and nurture that relationship over time, is a much broader set of channels and tactics. There's a lot of effort that's being put into the field of community right now, developing these digital communities around, fields of practice or particular products. And that's got some similar DNA to inbound, right? It's about creating value, rather than extracting value. But yeah, it's a bunch of new, strategies and tactics for how do we build and engage deeper and deeper communities. So, marketing is, for better and worse, not slowing down.
Great. So, it exists one strategy that I love, that's engineering as marketing. And you guys at HubSpot, it's a master of peace. They have the master of peace of this strategy. You were co-founder at Ion, that now in the last 2 years it's a rock content product. Engineering as marketing brings value for all the leads, the audience, and etc. Do you have some tips? Actually, I think this is engineering as marketing is your word as a VP in HubSpot, because you have some contact with a lot of technology. So do you have some tips or suggestions for all of us here to how we can create a great product with engineering as marketing?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's so exciting about creating products for marketers is it's almost like there's two audiences, right? You have the audience of the marketer that you're trying to serve with a specific set of capabilities and the interface for how you let them create and manage and optimize those things. But at the end of the day, they're using your tools, to then create experiences for their customers. And that was one of the things I found very exciting with the work I did at Ion Interactive, what's now part of Rock Content, is creating this interactive content. Yeah, we were selling a product to marketers to help them create those things, but where all the magic happened was in the actual interactive content assets that marketers would create and distribute to their audience. And so I think as a product manager, as an engineering leader in that kind of an environment, it's definitely challenging because you really do have to think at both levels. It has to both, be usable and really serve the needs of your direct customer. But ultimately, to be successful, it has to be a great experience for your customers' customers. And so you're kind of always operating at those two levels.
Yeah. So, Scott, I think we finish here. Thank you so much for your time, for being here. It's an honor for me. We already talked about Ion Interactive in 2020, but thank you so much again to bring thank you so much to have you here.
Thank you so much. It was great to chat with you again. Have a great rest of your day.
Tchau, tchau, pessoal. Até mais.